the channel. Gay Day only happens once per week.
That'll be the cover.
What? Listen, if you wear lip gloss, you're gonna, and you have long hair, your hair is gonna get stuck in your lip gloss. It's gonna feel really bad. And you have to find it.
Okay.
Pull it out.
Alright.
It's the worst. Alright.
There we go.
Hey everyone, it's PresslyActionGames.com here, and today we're going to be talking about the whole Kevin Hart controversy that's going on right now.
We are. So it's Gay Day.
It's Gay Day.
And we were looking at, topics in the LGBT community, and this certainly came up.
Yeah.
Very timely topic to do. And so, yeah, go ahead. This is my first time in the new set, isn't it?
Yeah, it is your first time.
Cool.
You don't fit in the
I
set very
don't
well.
fit in here. Come on now.
You fit now.
It's not very polite.
No, but
We'll make a call-out video.
the point, it's designed to be framed in this area, and I barely fit in the set by myself.
Backtrack.
Two people is difficult.
Yeah.
Anyways,
All right.
we're not attacking Kevin Hart with this video.
Yeah, that's sort of the point, right? Is that it's not. We talked about it as a family, kind of. Right? We had a good conversation about this before we were making the video, and we wanted to be super clear up front that we're not making a call-out video.
Yeah, we're not making.
Hence my call-out video joke. Yeah, so we're not making a call-out to us, right? I think we just wanted to kind of talk about what's going on and a take on what's going on without it being like an attacking video.
No call-out culture here.
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Okay, so should we just start by summarizing?
Please.
What's
Yeah,
happened?
that sounds like a great idea.
So Kevin Hart is a comedian. If you don't know who he is, I know who he is from an episode of Dynamic Banter, in which this is referencing.
He was also in Jumanji, the remake.
He was in Jumanji the remake. I didn't see Jumanji the remake for some reason. I've heard it was really good.
Cooper loves that. Yep, go ahead.
And he is in the new Night School movie.
That's true too. Yeah.
That's all I know him from.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's the guy from these two images, which are on the screen now.
That guy.
He's that guy.
Best known from these two images in this video.
These two images.
Yeah.
And so that's where I know him from. And so it turns out that he has had a history.
Well, so he was selected to host the Oscars.
Yes.
Right. That's what happened first. Well, not what happened first,
Kind of
but in this,
cool.
He's pretty big.
Yeah.
So he was selected to host the Oscars, and then people dug back into his history and pulled out some statements that he's made in the past.
Right. Generally kind of an uncool thing to do, but fine.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. It's not great behavior either, but both in his routines, in his comedy routines, and on social media in general.
Oh yeah, if you do it in a comedy routine, then I'm not holding it against people.
They're different. You can still go too far, but that's a separate thing, right? But yeah, so he made some comments in a routine, and he also made some comments on social media that were pretty homophobic.
Very homophobic.
They were very homophobic.
They were very homophobic.
Sure.
And so
people sort of called it out and said, "Hey, I can't believe you have this guy hosting the Oscars when he said these terrible things in the past."
And the Oscars were like, "Oh, that's not cool," because I guess they didn't.
The Oscars were like, "We should have done better research."
Yeah, I know. Like the Oscars should do this. But so they basically told him, "You gotta apologize again for this kind of stuff." He has apologized in the past. But you gotta do it again publicly. Say you're sorry for this kind of stuff, or else we're just not gonna let you host. Which is a good move on the Oscars part, in my opinion.
I don't think it's a terrible move. Yeah.
Yeah, like to be like, yeah, no, you gotta apologize. Like I know this was forever ago, this was like 10 years ago.
Right.
So apologize and we'll move on and you can still host the Oscars. And he said no.
He said no! No, so I think that it's an okay move. Like, okay, Presley's kind of right. It was kind of a dick move on whoever looked this stuff up and brought it up from a long time ago.
If it's in a comedy routine that's very public and part of your work, then I'm not making fun of them.
Yeah, like if that person had looked it up, but then had also looked up that Kevin had apologized. We call him Kevin because we're on a first name basis.
Yeah, we're on a first name basis.
Because I don't want to just keep saying Kevin Hart through the whole video. So that he's apologized before, then they probably could have dropped it at that point, right? So it was a little bit of a dick move to bring it up and say, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this." Or very call-out culture.
Yeah.
Right? To say, I know he's apologized, but he said these terrible things, so he shouldn't be hosting your show anyway. And I don't believe that, right? I think people can change, people can apologize, right?
Totally fine.
And so that there's the argument whether we should even have gotten to where we were, right? But then I think once it became a thing, the Academy Awards were probably right, or at least okay, to say, hey, look, can you issue a public apology again, and just say, hey, I've already apologized to this. I'm sorry about this.
Yeah.
I'm a better person now.
Good.
Yeah, like I'm a better person now. I've learned from my mistakes, and let's move on and do a thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so he decided
and that
then.
would seem really nice if it was kind of unprompted. too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for what I did again.
But so he decided then to be more defensive about it. Like his initial gut reaction was to sort of defend himself and say, no, look, I've already apologized for this. I'm a different person. I'm moving on. It's in the past. I'm done. And so I'm not going to apologize. Like on the call, apparently with the Academy, he said, you know, he said I passed. Yeah, I passed. And so they moved on and hired a different host, right?
We don't know who it is yet.
Well, they haven't hired a different host yet, but they've moved away from him. And
John Mulaney.
and so then he sent a post out saying, hey, I've decided not to host the Academy Awards, and oh, by the way, I'm really sorry to the LGBT community. Right? Then he apologized in that post, which was kind of strange.
They called us wonderful.
Because you are.
Yay.
Wonderful little unicorns. So, like, that was kind of weird that he then apologized after taking this public stand that, look, I don't need to apologize again because it's in the past. And I kind of get what he was trying to say. I don't agree with it. But I kind of get, like, he's fighting against call-out culture and those kinds of things. But, like, I think the point for me is that it's not a one-and-done, like, apologize thing.
Yeah.
Like, I apologized and so I'm done. Like, being picked to host the Oscars, like, introduced him to a lot of new people that don't know him and don't know his material and don't know the history. And for him to say, hey, if you saw this reporting that I had said these horrible things in the past, what you should have done is go Google and look for my previous responses and see that I've already apologized. Like, that's putting a lot on people. And in the same amount of time that you said that, you could have said, look, I said this, I've already apologized before, but I want to say I'm really sorry. That was a bad thing for me to say.
Yeah.
Like, it would have taken
That's
the
not
same energy.
hard.
Yeah, right.
That's not a bad thing.
And like,
to
I get
do.
he wasn't not doing it because he thought it was too hard. He was taking like a stand, right? But
It's a weird stand
it
to
is.
take, my
And
friend.
in his stand, he said, the same energy that you're using to attack me, you could be using to look up what I've already said. And I'm just thinking, well, the same energy that you're using to do this, you could be apologizing.
I know,
again.
less energy.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I mean, I think
hosting the Oscars.
yeah, I don't think that was a great response on his
Yeah.
part, especially when he then apologized almost immediately after.
Right, yeah.
Which I think was good. I'm glad he
Yeah,
apologized.
I'm glad you apologized, but still. Weird.
And I think, like, I think that you have this instinct to defend yourself. And be like, no. And you go really fast. And then when you think about it a little bit longer, you're like, okay, yeah, I probably should just
But, like,
apologize.
if you're a public person, you gotta think.
You might take that beat.
Yeah, you have to take a beat. And, like, that's why so many articles, like, if you're reading into any kind of drama ever, are like, this person has not responded yet. Because they have to think about what to say as a public person so that they don't hurt people. And so that defensive snap that I have this especially. Like,
No,
I totally
I was going to say,
get it.
even if you're a private person, you should do that.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many, there's a technique of, like, writing the email and then deleting it.
Yes.
Right? So when I get something that makes me mad or I have like a response to it or something like that, I will go through the process of typing up the email that I want to send.
Yeah.
And then I'll delete it. I won't send it.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes me feel better that I've got that out. I've expressed it. I've done that. I didn't do it as like on social media or as a press release.
Yeah.
I did it very privately, and then I'm able to kind of, okay, now I can take a breath and now I can respond appropriately.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish he had done it before so he could have helped kept the job.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good message. I think him apologizing when the Academy asked him to, and him keeping this spot on the award show, we would be making a very different video. We might still be making a video because I know there would still be outcry.
Yeah.
Like, people would still be saying, no, he said these things 10 years ago, so he shouldn't be hosting the show.
Right.
And we would be making a video defending
Like,
him.
hey, yeah, because you can change as a person.
Yeah.
I've changed a lot as a person.
Yeah, well, although one thing that hasn't changed, which I think is really interesting, is like your first VidCon panel, your YoungTubers.
Oh.
What did you say about this very topic when you were 9?
Not the Kevin Hart topic.
No, but this idea of saying something.
I predicted the future.
Yeah.
I said, like, if someone has done something really terrible and it was awful and offensive and gross in all forms, but they apologize and they say that they've moved on and they continue to act as a better person, and like, so they're not like apologizing and then continuing to do the same kind of stuff, then that is a person that you can forgive for the stuff that they did, because everyone has said dumb things and done dumb things and been offensive in the past, and as long as you move on and become a better person, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if that person doesn't apologize or apologizes but doesn't change their behavior, then no, don't forgive that person because they're not doing anything about it. They're not trying to become a better person, and those are the kinds of people that you should watch out for.
Yeah, watch out.
Watch out.
Yes. All right, so I got 2 things to say about that. Number 1, I just realized I'm wearing my Nathan Zed shirt.
Hey!
Who was on that panel with you. Here's a clip of Presley at that panel with Nathan, who we love.
Hey,
She has just turned 10 years old, but she has me daily vlogging for over 2 years. Woo! Okay.
The other thing is that, like, even, like, it is unlikely that that person on the first interaction is going to respond positively and change their behavior.
Yes.
So it's going to take some time and some love and some interaction with that person to get them to change their ways. And so don't, like, try once, and then if they don't do it, then you just write them off. And,
no. But, like,
but don't forgive them
Yeah.
if they haven't apologized and moved on, but continue to keep trying to reach out to them and help them grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think, like, Presley made a really good point a few minutes ago, too, where, like, there's a really fine line in comedy where, like, it's harder to call out a comedian for doing something in their routine because comedy, there's a lot of social commentary in comedy, and so you have to push boundaries and go places and do things that is trying to draw attention to those things, right? And so it can be done well and it can be done poorly, but the attempt at doing social commentary through comedy, I think, gives a lot of license to the kinds of things that you can say, I would say, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can go too far, I think.
You can definitely go too far.
Yeah, right, but I
Like,
think you get a lot more leeway.
Insensitive jokes. So there's a difference between a homophobic or racist joke and an insensitive joke. There could be a joke where it's not inherently and is not intended to be homophobic or racist or bad, but it's at a time when it's timed badly, it's phrased badly.
Sure.
Which is what I think of the Kevin Hart situation, because he has sort of said that it was meant to be.
He explained it in a really good way.
Yeah.
Like if that was legitimately his intent behind the routine that he did specifically, not the other social media stuff, but the routine that he did, then it's what I was talking about. It's kind of a commentary on, like, you should come away from, like, a racist or homophobic routine thinking, hey, racists are idiots.
Yeah.
Right? If you do it well, then you, like, maybe you're like, oh, that's funny, and then you're thinking, oh, well, that's like that attitude is stupid, right? You're sort of making fun of the concept of racism by emulating racism in a way. It's super complicated.
Right, and then you should kind of make it clear that you weren't being racist.
Well, you don't do that on stage.
Right.
You don't go, okay, well, wait a minute, let me explain what I just did. Right?
I'm not racist.
JK.
JK.
So you don't want to do that, right? But, like, things fail and things bomb, and so even when that's your intent and it doesn't come off, you can't be super held accountable for that because you're making an attempt to do those kinds of things. But there were other stuff with Kevin, my buddy Kevin, that was off stage and was different. The man on a treadmill. Treadmill on a truck.
Treadmill on a truck.
And so mobile treadmill. So yeah, I mean that's kind of was my thought around it, right? And I thought you were super mature around it as well, right?
Yeah.
And not, like, you have made specifically anti-call-out culture videos on this channel.
Right.
And so, like, we don't want to make, like, a call-out.
Yeah. And, like, there's a difference between, just to make this clear, there's a difference between someone doing something terrible and people being like, hey, this person is not great, and call-out culture.
No, absolutely, right? But I think the way that you engage in the message is super important, right? And it can't be like you're a horrible person because you did these things 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, and you're like, you have the right to be mad about that stuff.
Totally. Yeah. I think you can be offended.
Stuff,
you can be offended and you can be upset about it, right? But I think a real discourse and a real conversation about it, not that kind of discourse, a real conversation about it is an important thing to do, and not just everybody gets pissed off and goes to their corners and never interacts and never talks to each other, right? Yeah. So we have this conversation in our house all the time. What would Daryl Davis do?
What would Daryl Davis do?
And so,
what would Leonard Bernstein do?
If you haven't seen not an inconvenient truth. If you haven't seen Inconvenient Truth, go watch this here. But if you haven't seen Accidental Courtesy, like, go watch that, right? Because I think that is such a model for the way that we think people should behave.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so in our house, when we're having a conflict or we're thinking about a video like this or a topic like this, we always go back to Daryl Davis and say, like, how do you think Daryl Davis would handle the situation, right? And he wouldn't say, hey, what you did was right, but he wouldn't like distance himself from you and not interact with you, right?
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
All right.
Radical. So that's just sort of an overview and our thoughts on the situation. I will see you next Sunday when probably the next drama comes up that we get to talk about.
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly, yeah. So I will see you guys actually probably on Saturday with another Gen Z video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to press the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.